It's going to be a good one.
Yo, it's the Frickin' Frack Show, a podcast for the fans by
This
the
is the
fans.
Frickin' Frack Show, a podcast for the fans by the fans.
Frickin' Frack Show, a podcast for the fans by the fans.
All right, guys, you're watching the Frickin' Frack Show podcast for the
fans by the fans.
What's up?
What's going on, man? How's it going?
Man, I'm excited. I'm fired up, dude. It's going to be a good one. How you been?
It's been a crazy week, just waiting for Friday to come around. Just one more night, one more sleep, and we'll be at the good old weekend. Got a lot planned for the weekend, and just super excited that it's going to be the weekend because I'm tired of the week.
Yeah, man, we're 64 episodes into this thing. It's been a good ride. It's been a crazy ride. As always, let us know where you're watching from, whether you're watching this as it's going live or you're listening or you're watching it tomorrow while you're trying to avoid the workday. We've got a pretty special episode lined up for you guys. And
let me say, we definitely miss our live viewers, man. Since everything kind of opened up, although 2 months ago. Everyone just messages us and says, "Oh, I love listening to it in the car." And I'm like, "But I miss you.
Yeah.
I miss you, man."
Yeah, going live's been harder and harder each week, man.
But you know what, man? It's a lot of fun, whether we have 100 viewers or none. Like, it's been awesome just having the people here and having the awesome guests we have, and super excited about today's guest. It's going to make him feel, I guess, older or old, maybe even a little uncomfortable. But I was a child when this guy started making movies, and it was like back to back to back. We had Under Wraps. We had we had Kindergarten Cops, Under Wraps. We had my childhood, which Kindergarten Cop was a movie I watched like a billion times in my life, and of course, it's. He was a huge part of Disney, which, definitely excited about talking about that with Under Wraps, my favorite OG movie. And it's going to be awesome, man.
Yeah, man, this gentleman's rap sheet dates from what I can find back from 1990 to the newest things that he's got coming up, and we're excited to bring him on. This is episode 64 with our guy, Mr. Adam Wylie. What's happening, brother?
Hi, guys. Woo! I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm really appreciative to be here, and thank you to everybody watching live and all of you listening too.
Yeah, man, this is exciting. As Caleb said, we went back and started doing some research, once everything was set in stone to have you on. And, there's a lot of things that we didn't realize, the work that you've put in to get to where you are today. And that's what we're excited to talk about, man.
Man, I really appreciate that. It's crazy. Like, even, and with all of the work I'm very grateful for, like, I look on IMDb and I'm like, where's blah, blah, blah? Oh, they don't have it. Where's blah, blah? Oh, they don't even have everything, which is crazy to say. Because IMDb goes back from mine, as you said, to 1990, but I was doing things in 88 is when I started.
Wow.
Crazy to say. So I was, talking barely. And one of my first ever jobs was a pilot with Raven Simone. We were both 4. And so it's crazy to think that it dates back like all of that time. I can't even remember the name of the pilot, but we were 4 years old and it didn't go past the pilot. But I remember meeting Noah Wylie for the first time. Because a lot of, I worked for his theater company or his old theater company for a long time now. My friend Daniel Henning runs, it's called Blank Theater. And when he was a part of it, we used to talk a lot, and people would say, are you related to Noah? And I'm like, no, he actually, spells it different. He spells it the wrong way. And I've told him that. He spells it W-Y-L-E, and I have an I between the E. And he said he would get asked the same question. And he said, yeah. And we would chat, and he's like, yeah, but I joined the union in 89. Like, yeah, me too.
Man.
And he would go, what the? Fine. So it's crazy. It's like crazy how performing has just been a part of me since I was, birthed.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Yeah, because I personally, I don't know what I was doing at 4 years old. I wasn't
Right?
acting.
Who knows?
But man, like, which let's talk about that for a second. When it comes down to being a 4-year-old, kid, right?
Yeah.
Who's responsible to have a job. What's your memories of being, at that age, and did you think it was pretend, or did you think it was fun?
I mean, I thought it was fun. I loved entertaining. I liked people laughing when they were supposed to and all of that stuff. Sure. But the weight of everything doesn't hit you. You don't really understand what you're doing. It's exactly like going to the grocery store or whatever you want to relate it to, going to what kind of rehearsal or practice for some kind of sport, or it's all the same. You're just a kid and you're just doing what you're told. And if you're enjoying it, great. And it was very much the same. I didn't really understand that it was different. And I didn't really understand like the weight of what I was doing. I just went and I did it and people laughed and they applauded. And I was like, that's awesome. I want to do this more. I like it when you clap your hands. That's fun. You think I'm cute. Let's do that again.
Over and over and over.
And
Right?
I'm still that 4-year-old, only I just, am now consciously aware of what I'm doing. And that's it.
Bro,
Nice.
to put that in perspective, I have a 5-year-old upstairs, right?
Yeah.
Who I have to literally bribe to remain somewhat quiet for an hour span every week. I get emails from his teacher letting me know if he's been good or bad on a daily basis, because that's the arrangement I have with them to let me know what I'm in for when I pick them up from school.
Right.
So to put that in perspective, that you're acting, you're doing things a year prior to that, man, that's wild. That's talent and skill. I mean, that's nuts.
It's nonsense is what it is. But, I appreciate your kind words. What's interesting is you take your son now and you think in a year from where he is now, I would have been working with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And a lot of people always ask me, what was Arnold like? I was 6. Your child, when you ask him when you're 30, when he's 30, and you say, hey, remember when I was doing the frickin' frack show that one time when you were 5? He's going to go, no, I don't.
No.
You're going to ask him, even you can ask yourself, what was your kindergarten teacher like? Did you like them? What was their personality? Do you remember their name? Do you remember their best friend? What were their quirks? Do you remember what they liked to eat? No, you don't, because it was 30 years ago. Yeah. But the thing is that that's the same way I feel about Arnold. From what I remember, he was nice. He wasn't ever mean. But the weight of, oh my God, that's Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mr. Olympia, the guy who is freaking amazing and who I want to like emulate as I get old. That was not a thought. It was cool. He's big. I hear you're famous. Can I play?
Wow. You were a kid.
You were a kid. It doesn't hit you. You don't understand. You don't just go, Arnold, sit and have some tea with me. I want to talk about what was it like for Hercules in New York. Like you don't think about these things. This is not stuff I think about. But of course, now I would have those questions. Now I would be like, what was it like? With us toddlers climbing all over you. What was that? What was that experience? And now that you see us as, what we think adults are, how do you see us? And it would be very interesting to have that kind of a conversation now, for sure.
Well, let's go ahead and bring Arnold on, right?
Okay, good. Well, that's what they did actually for the Yahoo
for the reunion, right?
Yeah, we had
that was came
on and we were like,
I know you. I remember your expression, like how giddy you were, because you were just
so excited. I'm a big Arnold fan, so like, why wouldn't you be excited?
I know. I would have lost my mind personally, but that was the coolest thing ever, man. That was amazing watching you kids, as adults, talk about the experience and seeing everybody and y'all doing your lines. I mean, that was incredible, man. I don't know if you watched it, Matt, but it was incredible, man. And that was for the 30th anniversary?
Yeah, crazy. That was the
Wow.
30th anniversary, and all of those kids were all of basically the kids that I still kept in touch with, maybe one or two more. But those are
Wow.
like my friends that I still contact and
Yeah.
still have, like, have close relationships with from the movie.
Which, by the way, you had gotten to see Miko recently,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
so the funny thing is, I've seen Pet Cemetery, a million times, and
sure, as
I've
we all
seen
have.
all his films, but I didn't realize that was him in Kindergarten Cop for some
Oh,
reason.
really?
It didn't register
How
to me.
interesting.
I don't know
How
why,
funny.
but I was watching it the other night and I was like, oh my goodness, like all these years later, I mean, there's so
Yeah,
many different people in that movie though, but
so many. You don't
it's,
even realize it until you look back.
yeah. Oh yeah. But look, Kindergarten Cop was, one of my, I was watching that when I was probably, 9 or 10 is when I started watching it. And it was on replay when I was going to sleep, and for years and years, man. I mean, I love that movie so much, and like you said,
It's a great film. It still holds up. It's a great
it
film.
does. It's not a tumor.
It's probably a tumor. Thanks, Ben McQuarrie. Appreciate you.
Yeah, that was amazing, man. Amazing. There's so many taglines in that movie, and so many.
It's very quotable. It's a very quotable movie for sure.
So you formed these friendships and these bonds on set. I mean,
Yeah.
to the point where you said you kept up with them today. I mean,
Yeah.
Do you have those repeat people that you tended to start acting with as time went on?
Yes and no. Some. Miko's probably the one I've known the longest because he was 4 when we met and I was 6.
Wow.
And we have kept in touch pretty steadily. There've been, gaps of years where we haven't talked or whatever, but for the most part, I've kept in touch with Miko. Our moms were very close to, so that kind of helped.
Oh, that helps tremendously.
Yeah.
But there were some I did, like my friend Jacob Chase, who I worked with when I was a kid, who's now a big time director. He directed Come Play and wrote it, and he also directed
Nice.
Girl in the Woods on Peacock, which just dropped, and he's got a million other projects out. We met when we were like 10-ish, and so I've kept contact with him this whole time, and we talk all the time. But there were a lot of kids that I hung out with and what have you that, I mean, it's sad to say, but we fell out of contact, or they passed away, or they stopped acting and moved away. So there was a lot of kids who just didn't want to do it, and there were few who decided to stay in the industry, whether they were actors or other. And I just happened to stay a performer, whereas a lot of them, like Miko performs when it's right, but loves doing camera work. That's his passion now. And my buddy Jacob, I don't know if he'd ever act again, but he's a heck of a director and a heck of a writer, and that's what he does now, and he's incredible at it and loves it, and that's where he wants to be. And so there are a lot of kids like that just kind of moved into where they want to be in the industry, and not necessarily in front of the camera, but I'm a ham, so then there's that.
So I guess we can ask you, what made you want to continue?
Yeah.
I couldn't see myself doing anything else. The only other thing that I really had a passion for was sports. And I played sports a lot, but I realized that I was always significantly smaller than everybody else. And I knew that my success in sports, I was never the best on the team. I was one of the best. And I knew from a very young age that if I wasn't mopping people on the floor, that I probably wasn't going to go pro, or I'd have a harder road. But I was mopping people on the floor with acting. Wow. So I said, I'm just booking. What now is going to translate? What am I having success with, and what can I build? And I had these thoughts when I was 6. Who am I?
Wow.
And my mom asked me around like 8 or 10, you got to pick. You want to be a gymnast? Because I was training to go to the Olympics. And I kept up with it till I was about 25. She said, do you want to be a gymnast? Wow. Do you want to play professional hockey? Or do you want to be an actor? And those were the 3 things that I was, or a baseball player, because I was also really good at baseball. So it was baseball, hockey, gymnastics, or acting, and I chose acting because my thoughts were I could still do all of them if I act.
Yeah.
But if I pick a sport, I've got to pick a sport and I've got to stick to it because in order to succeed, I know I have to dedicate all of my chips in it.
Wow.
Dude. So you just named, okay, a few things here, a couple things I want to touch on. You just named maybe 5 of the hardest things to do in the world. And you not only named them, not only did you name them, you named wanting to be the elite at that. So you said Olympic gymnast. All right?
Correct.
It's not like you said you wanted
rings and floor.
Bro, it's not like you
already
just
knew.
said, like, it's not like you said, I just want to train in gymnastics. You were like, I want to be an Olympic gymnast.
Correct.
I want to play hockey. I'm good at baseball and acting. Dude, those are some things. I went ice skating for my anniversary a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Tell you what, not as easy it was when I was a kid. All right. About an hour in, I'm like, done, KO'd. All right. I know I'm not made to be on the ice.
Things to do. I love it so much.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I still play. So
dude,
come on,
it.
man.
Like, I love it.
So what I heard you say in all that is I'm going to devote my life to one of these things. Not just I want to do these things. I'm going to devote my life to something. One of these things.
Correct.
Okay. So that brings us to the next thing. There's so many like drop in what I would consider like came, saw, conquered, and bounced on your IMBD, like where we would just see you throughout our life. You know, let's just put it like that.
Sure. Absolutely.
Throughout our life. So what is it like that? Are you like casted as this actor and you want to like break free and do a whole bunch of other things, or is these things that you were like, I'm going to go do and I'm going to succeed at it and work my way up?
No. So this is how it worked. When I was on picket fences, I had probably the biggest shot to be the next, call it, I would just say Elijah Wood, because he was the biggest kid at the time.
That's true.
I had many offers for many movies that people don't know about. Like, let's just say my mom said, oh yeah, you used to hang out with, like, this happened yesterday. She was like, yeah, I used to hang out with Jodie Foster and she wanted you to do Little Man Tate. And I went, what happened? And she went, oh, this happened and this happened and this happened. And I went, what? I did the original reading for Chronicles of Narnia, but they wanted to wait until the technology got better. So I became too old for it. Oh my God. There's Indian in the Cupboard, Camp Nowhere, Jungle to Jungle. There's so many that I could name. It's insane where I got offered the part.
Man.
The problem was Picket Fences had it in their contract that they wouldn't let us do any other projects because they thought that audiences would get confused if you were on more than one project. Now, if I did that today, it's a very different story. They want you to be a social media star. They want you to do all of the things because they realize it will build their audience. But back in the 90s, they didn't know that. We didn't have social media. There was no internet. There wasn't all of these things. To be able to promote it, come back, and nobody gets confused. They just know you as this person, the entertainer, and now they want to watch you do all of the different things you can do. So my mom, Jack with Robin Williams, that was another one I was off.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
But I was doing Beauty and the Beast at the same time. I was doing that, and both contracts were like, you can't go do that. Even though one of the other kids booked the movie and ended up saying, screw you, Disney, I'm out. Which was crazy, but nothing bad happened. My mom was afraid that something bad would happen. Then when she saw Lauren Holly do Dumb and Dumber, she went, maybe not. And then Holly Marie Combs went and did Dr. Giggles, and that was all during the same time. And I think Kathy Baker did Edward Scissorhands at that time. Wow. And so that was after everything had been like offered, and she was like, well, guess you could have done it and been fine. But who knew? Nobody knew at the time. And to be that, you know, in a sense, then I was green in the industry. Yeah. You just don't know.
Yeah.
So after Picket Fences ended, it was so critically acclaimed, and it was where I learned how to act. I loved it so much. When that ended, because I didn't do all of these movies, I wasn't exactly getting knocked down offers anymore because I'm not on a hit TV show anymore. When you are an actor, you're as good as your last project, and everybody says, well, what are you doing now? Even if you had a movie come out that week, they go, awesome. What are you doing now? because and it's really, really difficult to get an acting job. It's so, and when I explain it, it is like people go, huh? When you think of for one role, 10,000 people submit, probably a couple hundred come in, only a few make it to the callbacks and they choose one.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
It's really difficult to get an acting job. And then they want to use people who they know are proven. So what I did was, because of Picket Fences, I got a lot of like straight to callbacks or, such. I did a lot of commercials on top of all of this as well. So I just auditioned for everything under the sun that I was right for, that was matching my character description and of parts I could realistically play. And a lot of things go into it. Do you look like the parents? Are you the best fit for the project? It's not just, are you good at acting? There's so many other factors that go into it besides. So it really is like luck, timing, talent, and all of those things striking lightning perfectly to book one job, let alone as many as I've been fortunate enough to book. Yeah. So I just auditioned for whatever my agent threw at me. I know it's a long-winded answer for that, but
no,
whatever they said, I just went, yeah, let's go.
Wow.
Long-winded. I know.
No, it's good.
Oh, that's a perfect answer. Honestly, that's
okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, then I appreciate the question.
Perfect enough. That's going to get clipped and put on Instagram for everybody to enjoy. So
and I'll share it. It'll be amazing.
There we go, baby. Let's go. Now we're off. Let's talk about voice acting, man. Like,
please.
Did you ever see yourself doing that? You did a lot.
No.
I mean, how'd that come about? Tell us that.
I'm going to tell you. When I was 6 years old, there was a movie called The Swan Princess that wanted to find a kid who was 6, who could play 4, who could sing. Wow. And they couldn't find one anywhere. And little Adam Wylie comes in and goes, I can't believe I stuck with her all summer. I'll bet she doesn't wrestle, hunt, or box. And they went, yes.
Wow.
There we go.
You sound exactly the same.
Launched, thank you. And that launched my voiceover career. And then I became the voice of Dennis the Menace. And then I did like, cartoons and Gargoyles and Batman Beyond and all of these other little things. And then the series came, Hey Arnold came after that and all of these other things. And I just started to do it, and it became part of my acting world, was to do commercials, movies, TV, and voiceover. Wow. And I just honed my skills slowly, and it really helps being a singer. And I can do all accents, and if I can't do them, as long as I hear them for 20 minutes, I'm good. I'm really good at like matching celebrity voices too, so I do that a lot. So it just depends on what area that I'm needed in. And it was just another way to work for me. So I didn't see myself doing it. I didn't initially say, I'm going to be a voiceover actor. But I fell into it, and that's kind of what, then I just continued, because I thought it was really, really fun to be able to show up to work in your pajamas and no one would know.
That's true. That's really neat,
and
actually.
play different characters in the same show.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, no one would ever know.
Yeah. I mean, some would, but, but most people would. And it's super fun. So, that's why I did that.
Wow. Was there actually a time where you thought maybe this is it? Like, did you ever do it? Was there a time period where you were at this point in your life and you were like, okay, well, this might just be it. I might have to just go find something else and do something
totally
else. Yeah.
All the time. As a performer, that's always a constant struggle whenever you have these lulls, because you're just going to, no matter how famous you are, no matter what, you're going to have lulls where either you don't work or you're not exactly what the market is buying at the moment, whatever it is. And you do say, well, I may never work again. And that's happened to me twice in my life, where I went, I don't know. I want to, but I legitimately, it's been so long since I've done something that I have no idea if I'll ever work again. And every time that happens, you book 3 things at the same time and you got to turn one down and you're like, I'm back. And then all of a sudden you're at the same spot. As soon as they end, you're like, okay. And that's it. So to answer your question, all the time, which is why this business isn't for the faint of heart. You have to have, everything's got to roll off your back like water off a duck. And you just have to Keep going, because my mom always said to me, the one who stays in it the longest will win. And she's absolutely right.
Wow.
If you have the talent and you have the drive, something will hit. But you have to have the talent, you have to have the drive, and you have to listen to what's selling, and you have to mold yourself to that. So I'm ever constantly changing as an artist. Like when quarantine hit, I was like, I'm screwed. What am I going to do? I molded myself to social media, but I'm not great at Instagram. I'm not great at Facebook. What can I do? TikTok came around. There you go. I'm really great at making videos. I'm really good at magic. I'm really good at sketch comedy. Let's put this all together. And that just, you just have to find the outlet that makes you marketable for now, for today's audience. And if you're not willing to do that, this isn't the business for you, because you have to constantly rebrand yourself.
Wow, that's a great answer, by the way.
Well, thank you.
That's a very honest answer.
I am 100% honest. Everybody says, I want to get my kid into acting. I'll go, don't. Why? Because you're going to give up your life and you have no idea.
Yeah.
Because your life is now over. Whatever you want in your dreams is going to have to go to their career. Otherwise, they will not succeed. That's true. If they just happen to be the one that doesn't have any talent, they're going to stop at 18 anyway, and they may not even work that much.
Yep.
So, to be honest, make sure they like it. Please. Yeah. Make sure they don't like it. Make sure they love it and are like, no. No, I'm a theater nerd. I have every single show. I've got all of this. I'm auditioning for this show. Mom, did you see the breakdown? If your kid's doing that and the agents are like, that was really good, there you go.
Yeah.
Now you found something. But you have to make sure that it's a perfect storm, because just my kid's funny. Every kid, every mom, every dad, my kid is funny.
Yeah.
It goes beyond that. And it's got to. Because this business is rough. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, it ain't easy. It's not consistent. And no matter how successful you think you are, it finds a way to knock you on your butt and let you know that you poor now. So it's just going to happen.
Something that you've referenced multiple times since we've been talking to you, and something that kind of hits home for me. Absolutely. I was raised by a single mom. You know, my mom and my sister helped me bring me up. You've referenced your mom a few different times. So why don't we back up and talk about that relationship? Because it seems like it's special to you.
It is. My mom is a huge part of my life. And she was never my manager. She was a classic stage mom when I was little. She grew out of that, to her credit. And, now she's the biggest support system I have or will ever have. And she also is a social media star on my page. She doesn't have an email. She wouldn't know how to do anything herself. But she's wonderful. She's my biggest support system. I wouldn't have a career without her, 100%. There's no possible way I would have been able to do this or be where I am if it wasn't for my mom saying, I'm going to devote everything for your career. So the fact that she gave up anything she might have wanted in her life so that I can do this is special to me. And I just feel like I owe her the world no matter what because of that. Because I get to do what I want and I get to do what I love every day because of her. So, it's very special.
That's I mean, that's that so we've talked to quite a few different people in the business, for people from behind the camera to in front of the camera, and there's always that massive support, or kind of goes in opposite direction too, to where you said it right when you started talking. She was never my manager. Sometimes that seems to get in the way of what's important. Sometimes, not all the time,
and most of the time it's very difficult for it to not get in the way, because once you add money to any situation, it becomes tricky. Yeah. And that's just the way life is. Once you're free, you equate it to roommates. And once you have a friend live with you, you see everything and you understand what kind of a friend you have as soon as they start paying you. So think about it with a family member.
Heard that.
Yeah.
Strong truth right there, man. Yeah. Very, very strong.
But it's true.
But yeah, exactly. But it is true. And it's good. It's really good that you had someone who was there for you from the start, for and basically your entire life. Because I've seen her on, I think she's a lady on your TikTok, right?
Yeah, she's all over my TikTok.
She's so sweet.
She's hilarious.
Yeah,
she's very fun, and she makes. You know, I come in and I have always maybe 5, 6 videos planned, and they end up turning into 20 or 30 just because she says the craziest, funniest things off the cuff. And it just comes from such a genuine place that, like, I'm just like, that's gold. And she's like, I'm sorry, should I not have said that? I was like, no, you should say more things like that. Don't try. Just say them. And you're good. You don't censor anything. Don't censor yourself, please. This is gold.
So working through your childhood,
Yeah.
did you go to a public school system, a private school system? I mean, seeing you on TV all over the place, that had to have changed how you went about school, right?
It did. I went to a private school for most of my life until high school. So I went to a private school, and it was hard. You know, there were months and months and months where I would have to leave. And the reason I went to a private school is because the LA public school system does curriculum 1 week at a time. You know, they do Monday to Friday, and then they go, oh, this is what we're going to do Monday to Friday. Great. And I needed 3, 4, 5 months in advance sometimes, depending on the project that I was working on. They didn't have that. There was just no system at that time that had that. So with a private school system, they had their year planned out. They knew exactly what curriculum they were doing from day one to day graduate. Wow. And I was able to say, I'm going to be gone for 7 weeks. And they would go, here you go. Here's 7 weeks. Give that to the set tutor. You're required to have 3 hours of schooling on set every single day. And it was easy for me to be able to come back. Most of the time I was a couple of weeks ahead of where they were. So I would, play on the computer or what have you until I caught up to where they were, until they caught up to where I was. So I'd be like, yep, learned this, took that test, did that, already did that. So, and then I went to public school, and it was significantly harder on me. Making friends was always difficult. You have a better job, or not a better job, but I would say a more exposed job than even the teachers. So I got like a lot of the kids, it was difficult for me to make friends with in school because I was just telling adult jokes by 3rd grade and knew semantics, and they were like, "Huh? I'm a child," and I'd be like, "Yes, you are." And that was really difficult for me. So I got along with people that were much older than me always, and still kind of do. But now that everybody's grown up, it's a little different. I just have these life experiences that are fascinating. And so when I went to public school, it was a lot harder. I always played sports, and I was always really good at them. I played varsity hockey. I played varsity baseball. I played varsity basketball. What else? I played 1 year of football, but that was middle school, so it don't count. But yeah, I even got myself in my private school. I made the hockey team. The year I left to go to a public school, the petition was granted, and they ended up getting a hockey team. And I was like, yes, too bad I don't play for them anymore. And I still talk to my coaches who were my teachers and all that stuff. The problem was I didn't play a lot. And the reason I didn't play a lot was not because of my talent. It was because making a practice was really difficult with auditions in school. And no matter how talented I was, the other parents would be so pissed if the kids who made all the practices didn't get play because I made only a third of the practices or only half of the ones that I could make, even though I knew that I memorized the playbook day one. Man. Because I was just used to it. Yeah. I would just go, I just look at it as a script and I'd go, next. No. This is easy. Dang. Where do you want me? You got it. So
where's my mark? Where's my mark?
And the reason hockey worked out is because, and I still play, I up until a couple years ago, I still played hockey on the same team as my high school coach. Both of them. Man. Both of them, which is so fun. And they're so damn good. It's like insane. And they still like travel and do all of this stuff. But for a while, one of my father figures growing up, because, my dad was kind of out of my life at an early age, was also my manager, who was also at the time, who was also my hockey coach. And so then we did like travel hockey along with acting. And then if I had a big, thing coming up, he'd be like, you can't play a lot in this game, right? Because you have a huge audition tomorrow. And I was like, yeah. Wow. He's like, I don't want you hurt for it. And I was like, but I won't get hurt. I won't get hurt. I'm really good at this game. I'll be okay. I won't hit them. I'm fine. Oh. because I was also a martial artist, so I wasn't
Oh,
afraid of
yeah.
getting hit. I was
Yeah.
like, it's fine. I'm good. And thankfully, I never had major injuries growing up in sports that deterred me from anything. My mom was always afraid I would, but never. I wasn't an injury-prone kid. So that was pretty interesting and wild. And that's, again, a long-winded school answer. But yeah, school was hard. I ended up doing independent study when I was 17. Okay, so here's the thing. So school, I decided to get my GED because then I could work as an adult as long as I was emancipated and had my GED. I passed my GED, not a problem. My GED then got unaccredited because for some reason, like I don't really want to say the real reason. I know the real reason, but I'm going to say for some reason they got unaccredited because they were under investigation. So I went back to normal school, ended up going on independent study because I got my first Broadway show, which was Into the Woods, and I wanted to move to New York and not have to do school anymore. So I went to independent study, did my junior and senior year in 6 months, 5 or 6 months, and just knocked both of them out of the way. Then moved to New York. Then as soon as I got to New York, the investigation was a wash because GED became accredited again, and now I have 2 high school diplomas.
Wow, you're one of a kind, man.
Whatsoever.
That's very rare.
It's very rare, for like no reason whatsoever. But that was kind of my school. It was not easy. You were a rock star the day something aired, and then the next day you were Hollywood, who's the show off.
Wow.
And that was I would smart mouth off to, especially the teachers in public school, a lot, because I could see that they kind of like couldn't put together what I was doing. I remember my math teacher coming up to me and saying, "Do you think your acting career is interfering with your school?" I was like, "No, if anything, I think my school is interfering with my acting career. Why?" And he, like, duh, dude. I have a retirement plan already.
Wow.
And he said, because do you know what you got on your last test? I'm like, no, but I'm very curious because my best friend, who is at Fat Movie Dad, my best friend Bobby, still my best friend, who you can find on TikTok, Instagram, all of those things, or on my Twitch, plays with us all the time. He was my tutor in math, and he was like, "You got a C," and I was like, "Oh, that's the best grade I've ever had." I'm so happy right now. No, I do not think it's interfering. I think that is wonderful. And he's like, "Well, you could have done better." I'm like, no. I'm dyslexic and you guys never caught it. Trust me, I can't do better. I will never be a mathematician. What I will be is an actor, sir.
That's right, man. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't believe that he pulled me aside to like rip me apart for a C. I'm like, "You're the only class I'm getting a C in, bud, because I suck at math. It's okay. 2 plus 2 is 5. I don't care."
I'm definitely terrible at math, and I don't know. I mean, truthfully, after all these years, I haven't used anything but adding, subtraction, and division. That's it.
Every once in a while, I'll use like area or surface area or something. Yeah, like if I want to lay new wood floors, I got to know. Okay, this room is 10 by 10, and it's 100 feet. How much do I need to buy? So like that, I mean, there'll be things I'll use it for, but it's such few and far between that I use anything else. But things to put on a golf scorecard.
I just hire a handyman.
Yeah, exactly.
Let them do those equations. Yeah,
as a magician, I have to math a lot, and that is not like. It's more not basic. I mean, some of it's basic math, and some of it is more like algebra related stuff because I do have to like solve for X because I want a solution and I have to do this. And how would that be possible? I need to see the patterns.
Wow.
So I do use it, but it's so like minimal compared.
Yeah,
I have to say.
Well, speaking of, I wanted to ask you about your experience of doing Into the Woods.
Tell me.
What was that like, man? Because I'm a big fan of the show, and I'm a fan of the movie, but like the show is just.
The movie was awful. I'm sorry. In my opinion, I'm glad you liked it.
Oh, I didn't like it. I mean, I don't know.
I hated it so much.
I had a lot of irks about it. One of the biggest irks was going to see it and no one knowing but me that it was a musical. And everyone's like, why is Johnny Depp singing? You know, and it's just like, I don't.
Why is Johnny Depp in it? Let's just
like, yeah. I mean, that was
Um,
very miscasted. James Corden, I think. Yeah,
oh,
that was the downfall
not
for
his
me.
role.
No,
his
not
role.
at all.
There was a lot of things that were tickets and this is close enough, and I'm like, nope.
Yep.
But the show's amazing. I love
Mhm.
the show so much, and it's got such a wonderful message. It was a dream, man. I mean, to do a show on Broadway was the first Broadway show you have is pure magic, and to
Yeah.
be with amazing Broadway veterans like I was with, was insane. I mean, and Vanessa is one of the coolest people, Vanessa Williams, I've ever worked with in my life. She bought me my first Xbox. She's the reason I'm a gamer.
Wow, come on, man.
Yeah, for my 18th birthday, and she's one of the coolest, greatest, most down to earth people I've ever met in my life.
Mhm.
And she was like one of my crushes growing up, so like that was cool. So I was like, oh my god. So that was awesome, and I got to meet, like, she was married to Rick Fox at the time, so Shaq would come, and like all of these Lakers, and I'm like, oh my god, you guys are Lakers. And I'm just, my mind is blown,
Yeah.
It was the greatest experience. Like, I still keep in touch with a lot of the castmates. I love them dearly. I mean, one of the most wonderful and terrifying experiences I've ever had. I thought I was going to get fired every day because James Lapine is so intimidating, but Steve Sondheim is one of the most loving people to ever walk the face of the planet. Paul Giamatti is a damn genius, and he's also very intimidating, but also can be very sweet. And it's crazy. It was just a crazy, wonderful, most beautiful thing. That was a life goal of mine, that to be able to say, I want to be on Broadway one day.
Yeah.
Everybody's supposed to, and then achieve it.
Yeah. What an accomplishment.
Was insane.
Yeah.
Like, it was never my personal favorite show, and it's still not my favorite show.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. I think it can be boring. However, I think it has an amazing message, and it taught me that I don't know how to count, as many Sondheim shows teach you. And it was also just the coolest thing I've ever done. Like,
Yeah.
top 3 in things I've done in my life, for sure, without a shadow of a doubt.
Wow. What was your what's your favorite Broadway shows, man?
If I have to put an order in it, it would be Big River #1, and that's only because I wanted to do Huck, and I did play Huck, and I think Huck is one of the coolest characters to ever be written in the world, and I like the music to the show. Not the best show, but it's personal to me. Number 2 is the Full Monty, which is completely different from the movie, kind of, and they made it, take place in Buffalo, and I have friends that were in the original company. And I love David Yazbek, and I think that music is one of the best music ever. And I think that show, translated from the movie, put into a Broadway show, is one of the best shows I've ever seen, hands down. And 3, I'd have to go with Les Mis, because it's just a timeless classic that is so well written that just holds up no matter what. Again, can be long and boring and slow, and I get it. But when you have a cast that can, like, destroy it, like the 25th anniversary where Alfie Boe was Jean Valjean, like, dude, like, there is nothing better. There is nothing better than that. There was only one person miscast in the whole thing, and that was Nick Jonas. And other than that,
agreed.
The entire, like, Norm Lewis is a god. Like, what? I don't care what he plays. I would go, you can play whatever role you want, and I will listen to you sing. Tell me. I don't care. He's like, I'm going to play a 10-year-old boy. And I'm like, yes, you will. What are you doing? You're Annie? You got it. I don't care. I don't care what he does.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing.
So that's top 3 for me. I'm gonna go with that for top 3.
I'm a big Les Mis fan, but
nice.
I live near New Orleans, so we get to go to, like, the Singer Theater to see, like, shows, and we've seen a lot. But we've also gone to New York, me and my girlfriend, quite a few times. And
New Orleans is wonderful. I love that city.
I'm shocked you've come here. Everyone says they haven't been here, but they want to.
I love it. It's a vibe and an energy, man. I mean, like, especially if you're a big ghost person. Whew, you walk down Bourbon Street and you're like, I feel eyes on me.
Like, I feel the presence of
screaming. I don't know why, but I think I hear screaming, and it's at me. But
Yeah,
I wouldn't trade it. It's so fun.
Yeah, it's we live about an hour away, so we're always over there, man. And we tend, we're not tourists, so we don't go to Bourbon or nothing. We
Of
tend
course.
to
Why would you?
stay away from there?
Absolutely. That's like me when I go to New York. Like Times Square is the last place I want to be.
Yes, I've been in New York like 5 times, and Times Square is the last place I want to be. Personally.
Overload.
It's
Sensory
wild.
overload.
I mean, unless I'm going to see a
Dude.
show, I'll go. But normally I'm all around different districts. But Times Square, oh no,
100%.
Like why are you guys all sitting down in the bleachers? Like walk or something. Go do something.
What are we waiting to see there? That's my question every
the
time.
naked cowboy.
What are you guys waiting to watch?
5
tell
hours
me, I'll
later. Like
Maybe
5 hours later, man, they're still sitting down at the same bleachers. I'm like, what are you doing?
For the George M. Cohan statue to start tapping, apparently. I don't know. Like, good Lord.
Every time. Like, what are we waiting for?
I don't know.
So we would classify you, and I think you would say the same, as not an
as
actor,
a crazy person,
as a performer, right?
Yeah.
As a performer. It sounds like ever since you were born.
As that.
Right. Not pigeonholed into anything. When did you decide to take that split? When did you say, hey, you know what? I can do all these other things?
I mean, it just was always in me. When my mom said, you've chosen acting, I got into tap class, I got into ballet class, I got into jazz class, I got into singing lessons, I got into golf, I got into tennis, because she said golf, tennis, and hockey are the 3 things, which you already do hockey, so you're fine, but those are the 3 things that they have celebrity tournaments in.
Oh,
that's true.
For the most part. And I went,
wow.
Okay. So I did all of that, and then softball baseball turned into softball as I got older, and basketball I always did too. So those were things that I did on my own, but I had a lesson for everything. Like when I said I've had lessons for everything, you probably name it, and I've either done it or had a lesson in it for the most part. There's huge exceptions to that rule, or I just taught it to myself because I just wanted to know. And because when you're auditioning for things, they're going to be like, we need a kid who can fence.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm. And then they have you prove it. And if you can't, they will find someone who can. So that is the thing. And my mom was always obsessed with like theater. So there I was, like singing, acting, dancing, doing all of these different things since I was knee high to a pig's eye, an ankle biter, as you'd say. And there you go. That's when I birth was when I became a performer, and was not just an actor. It was just birth and instilled into me that if you better be able to do everything, and you better be able to do everything they say at a high level, or they'll find someone who is, and it needs to be your job and not theirs.
Yep.
It's that Mamba mentality. You know what I mean? Like,
I love it.
Go kill it. If you're gonna do it, do it. You don't say that you can. Don't be amateur at it. You do it. Okay. So that's what it was.
What's that saying? Go big or go home.
Go big or go home.
Go big or go home,
man. Go big or go home. Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
So you've been on this trajectory. I'm just trying to wrap my mind around it, Adam. Apologize. I'm sorry.
No.
You've been on this trajectory since I was born.
Correct.
Like,
yeah.
Yep.
Caleb asked you earlier, was there ever a time that you wanted to, or you thought this was it? Talk to us about a time where you were in a setting and you just kind of had to walk away and step away for a while.
3 years before the pandemic, the world changed. It was hard. I was on 2 TV shows at the time, cartoon shows. I was doing Jake and the Neverland Pirates as Peter Pan, which dream come true to be the voice of Peter Pan for Disney. And I was doing another cartoon show. And my manager called me. He said, it's going to be hard for a while. And I said, what? Come on, Brian. Come on. And he was like, no. I'm telling you now, you need a backup plan. It's going to be hard for a while.
Wow.
And I went, okay. Within that week, both shows got canceled. And I didn't work for 5 years.
Whoa.
Wow.
I had a house at the time that I then had to sell. And I finally, for the first time in my life, after having always lived an hour or so from LA, moved to LA, bought a house. That was super sketch because I couldn't pay for it. I became a Lyft driver and was like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
I can't do it. You know, I had so little to my name because everything I had ever earned from a child was in this house that I said, I need food or gas. Do I get gas so that I can go drive Lyft for the next hour to maybe make $50, and then once I refill the car, I'll have 20 or 30 or what have you? Or do I just say fuck it, excuse my language, and eat tonight something nice? And I chose to eat, and those were really scary times. And I was like, this is it. I got to find something. I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was 5 years of that. It was so hard because you look at all of the things that you've done and people are like, but you've done so much. And you're like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, it's a blessing and a curse that I've been acting since I was a kid, because then you go into a casting office and they go, oh, you're that kid from Picket Fences. Oh, wow. You're an adult now. I still remember you as that kid. And you've got to be able to do things to change their mind. And how do you do that? You have to work. How do you work? They've got to hire you. But if they're still looking at you like you were a kid, it's just so hard. So I did a show. I played that statue that you see in Times Square. I played George M. Cohan in a show called Yankee Doodle Dandy at Musical Theater West. Basically 2.5 hours of me tapping and singing my face off. My friend called it the Adam Wylie Show, and also other people. And I was like, that's very funny. And from that, I booked another musical. I did Young Frankenstein, where I played Frederick Frankenstein. And that's when my career started coming back. I joined TikTok that December. And then quarantine hit, and I was like, we're back to square one. What am I going to do? Then I started growing on Instagram. I started figuring out this magic stuff. I started putting everything together. I started booking more gigs as a magician. You know, I'd been working at the castle for, at that time, 8 years, but I couldn't do it in person. How do I work around it? And I kept growing and growing and growing. And then I did Lucifer. I was like, oh, and then I did a bunch of other voiceover things. And I was like, oh, and then I started getting more and more stuff. And I was like, this is okay. We might be able to make this work. And now, you know, Lucifer's on TV. I have an upcoming Animaniacs. I was in Mitchell's versus Machines. You know, the Lucifer season 6. And now I'm doing a new musical that I start rehearsals this month, in the middle of the month. And I'm back at the Magic Castle next week. You know, things are starting to kind of roll again. And I'm so grateful for that. But man, I mean, there are always those times in performer's life where you are breaking the piggy bank just to pay the gas bill. And that's happened to me twice. So 3 years before quarantine, and also like 10 years before that. So crazy, crazy.
It's a lot of honesty though. You know, it's good to hear these things, because we as people, right, need to be reminded that you guys are people. You guys have struggles. You know, I mean, you always hear nowadays everything's about mental health, but you don't ever hear about, you know, people who go through these hard times like this, you know.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think it's so important for anybody to know out there that it's also never too late. If you really want something, you can still do it. If you have a real talent for it, if you have a real drive for it, don't have a plan B. You will work. You will find a way. You will find a way to earn money in what you want to do. It may not be the way you wanted to. It may not be the way you saw it. But when there is a will, there is a way, and you can still earn money with what you really, really like. But as soon as you have a plan B, your plan B will become your plan A. I guarantee it. I've seen too many people move out to LA and say, I want to be an actor. They get a job at Target. Well, but I have a shift, but you got a call back. Blow off that shift. Well, but we don't have anybody. Then you don't have the drive. Well, but now I got promoted. Well, now I'm a manager and now I have more responsibility. Well, now they have healthcare, and well, now I've got a corporate job at Target. What have you. That's wonderful, but you didn't move out here to work at Target. You could have stayed in Indiana.
Yep. And that's the hard truth, man. That's really the hard truth when it comes down to it, you know?
And, you know, maybe that person didn't have the talent to be in the entertainment industry anyway, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's what was needed. But I gotta tell you that if people who are big, who are the people casting it, were sending you out on audition saying, no, you have something.
Yeah.
And you really want it, it's gotta be your plan A. And your plan B. And your plan C. Gotta stop at nothing to make it work. And I promise you, it will. But you've gotta have the highs and the lows, because there will be lows. And as long as you're smart with when it's high, the lows won't matter.
Yeah.
It kind of sounds like you did it backwards from how people.
Yeah, I did.
You know what I'm saying? Like you
100%.
moved to LA after you had done all these things. You know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I did everything backwards and continue to do it.
Is that what makes you you? Is that you think that's what's inside this? I mean, because you've seen it, how it can work the other way.
I've always been a late bloomer. I've always been somebody who I consider myself a late bloomer. There were some things that I just took to that people take years to learn, and there's other things that were really hard for me that people got immediately. So I've been a late bloomer when it comes to real life, and always a early succeeder when it comes to career. And so there have been things for me that have been a struggle, and it was almost like I became retired in my 30s instead of my career just going up and up and up, because my career came up and then it and it's very odd and it's very interesting, but I wouldn't have it any other way. It's what I love to do, and I'll do it till I can't.
Yeah. I mean, it's really really amazing seeing, you know, and the way you're speaking about it, you know, the passion is definitely you know, ignited and remains to be that way, which is amazing. Because like you said, you know, there's going to be hard times, and there's going to be good times, a lot of good times, and there's going to be a lot of hard times. But I mean, you really, you know, I think especially now, since you've been through it, like you said, multiple times and everything, you're just faced with appreciating what you have in this moment, you know. And it's good though, man. You know, it's really good.
If you're not, you know, no matter what, I always try to be one of those people who there's always somebody bigger, stronger, faster, right? If you always live by that, you stay in a place that doesn't make you, you know, one of those stereotypical people. And that's what you have to avoid, because those stereotypical people are fleeting. They will have their 15 minutes and it will not last. But if you want to be in this for the long haul, you've got to understand the frailty of the situation and what needs to be done, because I consider performing as a normal job, as everything is on the planet. It is just a job with more exposure and different skill sets.
Yep.
Wow. So I guess one of the things we like to, we might go a little over time if you don't mind, but
I don't care. I'm here.
I do want to ask you about your podcast, because
tell me. Yeah.
We're you know, we're podcasting. We do our thing. We love what we do. And we want to know exactly what made you guys want to start a podcast. What's the introduction to it?
What's very interesting is I started a podcast with somebody else who asked me to be on the podcast. That fell through. It didn't really ever go anywhere. And then one of my good buddies I'd met through TikTok, who plays video games with me every night, because I'm on Twitch at This Is Adam Wylie, if you ever care, all the time, because I was an MLG quality gamer at Halo and Call of Duty. Why? How did I have the time? I don't know. And also at sports games, and I hold 2 world records on Mario Kart 64. I'm a nerd. And I'm really, really good at Blitz 2000. It's the only football game I'm really good at. All the other ones I'm
terrible. Those are great. Yeah.
But I can still pick up Blitz 2000 in an arcade, and I will have anybody quit by halftime. It's stupid. But it was my life for a while. So, damn, what was the question? Why did I get sidetracked? Podcast. So that podcast fell through, and my buddy Justin was like, "Hey, dude, I need a co-host, and you know." I got your brother from Picket Fences, Justin, to be on the podcast. I was like, oh, no way. He's like, yeah, will you just come surprise him? I was like, yeah, dude, do it. And so I did. And he said, dude, we make a really good team. I was like, I agree. That was excellent. And you're naturally good at it. And this is not somebody, Justin's not somebody who is a performer. You know, he's an Army guy who was a chef and, you know, he's not a performer, but damn, he's good at this. And I was like, you're really good at this, man. And he's like, thank you. Let's do this. And I was like, I don't know. I got this other podcast with this other guy and I don't want it to interfere. And all of a sudden that fell through and I was screwed. Let's do it. And I dove into it and said, let's go. And that's how my podcast kind of came about. It was an accident, pure accident. And there we are. It's a Backstage Pass podcast with Justin Claypool and Adam Wylie. And we are having a ton of fun just talking to people from all walks of life. There is no limits. We just like fascinating people, period, who have interesting stories and interesting jobs that they want to share about. You know, there's no limits to it. And so that's what we do.
It's the way of the world now, man. I think it's taken over radio. I think it's taken over even news outlets. You know, I get all my news information from podcasts, all the upcoming stuff from podcasts. I don't remember the last time I turned on anything else, you know?
Same, man, same. You know, it's the world that is changing. You're absolutely right. Totally. I agree with that.
Yeah, we actually started this podcast a year and a half ago, man.
Whoa.
We're on episode 64 now. You know, 64,
so cool.
Perfect number for you to come on. You know, but
Nintendo.
But we started this podcast talking about boy bands. Believe it or not,
of all
things, man.
I have friends that are in the boy bands.
Oh, us too.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. Which boy bands do you guys have?
All of them.
Love. I mean, they're all great, but yes.
Man, there's so many. I mean, we're really big in Backstreet and O-Town and LFO, and we've had so many people on the show too, man. We've had so many of them.
Who?
Backstreet, LFO, O-Town.
No way.
We had Chris Kirkpatrick on. We had Brian and his wife and his son on from Backstreet. Trevor from O-Town. Brad from LFO, dude. It's been such a cool ride, dude.
Yeah. That's so funny. So when I was in independent study, Rebel Ricky from No Authority. So I did Wicked with Eric Stretch from No Authority. And then I grew up with Ricky. Ricky and I did the Nutcracker together. I broke my leg during rehearsals of Nutcracker. He took over for me. And that's how we kind of became friends. And then he went to the same independent study I did when I had to graduate early to move to New York. So my teacher would always talk about Ricky, and he's like, "Oh, I love Ricky, blah, 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 blah." I was like, yeah, Ricky. And then it's so funny that like you're saying this now because like, and then I still talk to Eric Stretch and all that stuff. And then of course, Drew, my buddy Drew, who was the lead singer of Varsity, and then David Lee Brandt is my best friend growing up. So he was also in Varsity, and now he's in Germany, and he was Lady Gaga's #1 dancer, and now he's in a different boy band in Germany. But I've known him since I was 8.
Wow. Come on.
So like that whole world has been like also like a bunch of my friends.
Yeah.
And Drew wrote the songs that we sang because what I did was I was in the boy band of the Animaniacs episode.
Wow. So that's amazing, man.
That episode hasn't aired yet. So I'm in the boy band. And then I also was Harry Styles for Mad TV for the 100th episode. And I did all of One Direction. It was just me singing.
That's awesome. So, that's incredible, man.
It's crazy.
Wow. Well, speaking of which, man, what are your thoughts on them bringing back things from the 90s, right? I mean, as you know, there's a remake of one of our favorite movies that you starred in, but it seems today there's so many things coming back from the 90s. It's music, of course. I mean, music, everybody's just coming back and just still doing their thing. I mean, yeah. I mean, look, everything, movies, everything. So when it comes down to, let's say, the music in the movies, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that some of the 90s stuff was incredible. Like if you look at like
Yeah.
horror movie franchises, you look at Scream, probably one of the most iconic and arguably the most well done franchise in all of horror movies.
Absolutely.
You think of something like that, and we need a Scream. I'm so happy that there's a new Scream.
Yes,
And of course,
January.
Nev Campbell being like one of my original crushes. Shout out. The cool thing about that is we need movies like that don't apologize, that are actually building suspense and aren't full of gore, that are story driven, and that is something that I think is needed. However, I think the music I think was wonderful, and I think having hints of that and understanding that is great. I think all of the remakes drive me crazy. And not in a Britney Spears "you drive me crazy" way. What I am actually like, what drives me nuts about it is it feels like we are trying to capture lightning in a bottle twice.
Ooh.
You are trying to remake something because it was successful, and now you're grabbing at straws saying that was successful, that was pretty recent. I'm sure that the kids would want to introduce I'm sure that the parents would want to introduce their kids to that, but you're not introducing their kids to that. You're rewriting history.
Ooh,
instead of giving a nod to what happened and honoring it. A lot of these things are completely going, let's pretend that didn't happen and let's make it work. And that drives me crazy. Why don't we come up with an original idea that then has representation from everybody? Wouldn't that seem to be better moving forward, so that people can say, oh, you had that, but we have this is what's new. We have Shang-Chi, which is freaking insane and genius. Can we have more stuff like that instead of remaking
Under
What
Wrap.
Have You or He's All That?
Oh, yes.
Why?
Yes,
Why
I agree.
remake She's All That? Freddie Prinze Jr. and Rachel Lee Cook and Matthew Lillard were perfect in it. Why the heck are we then, and that's not a knock to, the guy who played the lead, he was actually very, very good in it. But and still Rachel Lee Cook was in it, and so was Matthew Lillard. Great in it. But why do we need to do that? Why can't we come up with an original story that has this same implications and feel? Instead of remaking something that, the odds of you hitting it out of the park twice and not a sequel way is really hard.
It is.
Why are we rebranding it? It doesn't need to be rebranded. Let's come up with original content. My opinion. Please.
Bro, that's something we talk about all the time, man, is the 90s versions of things. The reason we love them so much is because they moved us in a certain way, whether that was laughter
they were
cries.
original ideas.
And it told a story. It was great.
Yeah,
especially,
I agree. And that's why it's nostalgic for people.
Yes.
And that's the perfect word, is nostalgia, man. I mean, it's there's no such thing as watching something today and saying, oh, this is going to be, what I'm going to be showing my kids in 20 years, 30 years. There's not much content out that I can say, like for us, right? We go back to the DCOM days of Disney original movies and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the stuff I'm still watching tonight,
Absolutely.
Like it's the craziest thing, like Johnny Tsunami, Under Wraps. I mean,
which I got a call back for Johnny Tsunami. I didn't end up getting it. Brink, I almost got. That was really close.
That's our favorite, man.
It's the best one, in my opinion. My brother was my oldest brother was one of the founders of Team Rollerblade. So I played ice hockey and roller hockey and still do. So like rollerblading was like a big thing in my family. Yeah. So they had the Eric Von Denton cast, which is what they ended up using, and they had the Eric Lively cast, Blake's brother, who was in like American Pie and a lot of other stuff, and they ended up going with the Eric Von Denton cast. Wow. So and then Eric, and then during So Weird, it was Eric Von Denton, and then Eric Lively took over for him. Hilarious, but I could go on and on about that because I'm super close to that whole family because their dad managed me and taught me how to act really during the Picket Fences days. So,
wow, man, you have connections everywhere. Like everybody, huh?
all over. It makes no sense to me. My mom reminds me about things that I didn't know existed. She's like, yeah, you had that. I was like, I had no clue.
Yeah, you don't remember that?
Nope.
Brink was
I was doing some things.
Yeah,
I was kind of busy.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Okay. It's crazy going back to those days, man, and being able to watch things, 20, I mean, how long has Under Wraps been out? 20,
25 years.
25, right?
Yeah.
25 years, man. And I can still watch it tonight, which I'm sure I will. I watched it the other night, but like, being able to go back and watch something 25 years, I can't even watch the stuff from 2 years ago. I watched it one time and I shelved it. I said, okay, I'm never watching this. Nothing hits.
Everyone is so focused on recreating old nostalgia, but they're not focused on developing nostalgia for the generation of now.
Definitely, man. And look, I can say it on air. I was upset. I am very offensive when it comes down to these Disney remakes and reboots. I was very upset with Under Wraps. I really, truly was. And I'd contacted you and told you, like,
Yeah, you did. You did immediately.
I mean, it was like 9 minutes into the movie, and I was like, no, this is a big no, man.
Yeah.
But
I still haven't seen it, so
it's not good.
Know.
Don't waste your time. Don't waste your time, man. It's
unfortunately what I've heard, and it breaks my heart. It really does.
Us too, because we don't want these things being remade at all, whether it's good or not. Just let it be magic. Like let Hocus. Okay, for instance, this is another one. Hocus Pocus, right? They're bringing back the Sanderson sisters and Doug Jones again, which is crazy to me, but that's cool. But
at least they have the 3 original witches, and that is different. That's a part 2. That's a sequel that could be really fun, as opposed to let's pretend the old one didn't happen and cast 3 new people, which I would fly off the handle.
Yep, me too. me too. Because that one is a sacred movie as well to me. Hocus Pocus. It just, I don't know if they can recreate the magic for the second one, but being that it's the original 3, I'm absolutely 100% willing to watch it and probably really enjoy it.
See.
We'll
see. You know, and it may be great, and it may come crashing down, and who knows?
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those things where you just don't know, and I think they said it's going to Disney Plus directly, which which Disney Plus, the original content, most of it's pretty much better than what I've seen Disney Channel do in the last, let's say 10 years.
I mean, Mandalorian, it's
great,
hands down one of the best shows on television.
It's great.
So.
Amazing, man. Speaking of which, I do want to ask you one more thing from myself is, can you tell us about your time and experience with Under Wraps? Because that's our favorite.
100%. All right, so this is a crazy story. When I was doing Under Wraps, I was also doing an all kids production of Music Man, where I was playing Harold Hill. So in my Marcellus was Jonah Platt, who's Ben Platt's older brother, who I'm still very close with. Love the Platts dearly. And so I booked Under Wraps, and I was doing both things at the same time. It was so nerve-wracking because I was having to learn the lyrics to Trouble, which I kind of already knew, because by that time I'd played Winthrop about 8 times, because I was the only redheaded kid in California that was like, I'm going to do this all over the freaking state. So I had already kind of basically known it, but I never devoted myself to learning the lyrics of it. So I'm doing that at the same time I'm filming Under Wraps, which is in Chico, California, the yo-yo capital of the world.
Yep.
Who
That's right.
Doesn't know. And at that time, they had a minor league baseball team called the Chico Heat. And yes, I did go to a game. Very, very cool. And I was super excited. And filming it was wonderful. It was a flippin' blast. I mean, I had an amazing time every single day. Mario and I got along very swimmingly. Clara and I butted heads a little bit. And Clara and Mario got along really well. By the end of it, they were kissing. I'm just gonna put it that way.
Ooh.
Yeah, no. They were like boyfriend and girlfriend, But
they were actually at the end.
Yeah, they were. So that wasn't a lie. And he's from San Francisco, so he's a big Giants fan, and I'm a big Dodger fan. So we had words, but other than that, it was totally cool. But it was so fun. I mean, Bill couldn't have been any cooler. He was so good, and he was so wonderful. And like seeing The Mummy, we didn't know what we were doing because it was just a Disney Channel original movie, and it was the first ever one. So we're like, oh, we've never seen a Disney Channel original movie. We don't know what this is going to be like. And so, okay. And it was so much fun to film, and we had a blast. Everybody was so good in it. Like, I mean, I was a fan of Mario and like thought that he was so good in it. And I was just so excited to be a part of it. And I loved like all of the warthead stuff because I've always been a horror movie buff. And that was like so fun for me. And the fact that it was actually scary, so cool.
Oh yeah.
I ended up doing a couple of my own stunts because it was hard. So the bike crashing is the only one I did not do.
Yeah.
That was a stunt double. And they were like, we don't want you to get hurt. And I was like, I don't want me to get hurt. So I understand. So that was cool. And then when we're sneaking into Kubots and we got we have the window and I fall backwards through the window. The stunt double did it about 6 times. And they were like, wig keeps falling off. It looks like a stunt double. It doesn't look like a kitty. It looks like a man.
Wow.
And I said, you guys know that I've been to stunt school, right? You guys know that I did Circus of the Stars and Cirque du Soleil, and like you guys are aware. And they were like, "Huh?" I was like, "Yeah." Put me in the harness. They're like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah, it'll be fine." So I did it myself, and then the driving the car, also me.
Wow.
So it was really, really cool that I got to like, and that wasn't the first or only time that I did some of my own stunts. They only do it when they're like, we don't want to over injure you, and if you feel incredibly safe, we'll let you do it, but unless you feel incredibly safe, we're going to leave it to other people. And I was like, yeah, I guess that makes perfect sense since you don't want to like stop your filming schedule. So I did all my own stunts there, and I just I mean, when it finally like aired and did all of this stuff, as I got older is when I realized how like nostalgia it would be. I remember seeing the DVD in New York when I was in New York in about like 90. No, it was about it was when I was doing Into the Woods in 2002. They still had like handheld video cameras, and somebody went, "Hey, look, the DVD to Under Wraps." I was like, "How funny." They're like, "Don't you want to buy it?" I was like, "Nah, it'll be around."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I wish I would have bought every copy they had, because now to find that DVD on Amazon, if you can, is like $80 to $150. And I just wish I would have bought every copy for $3.99 that they had in that store. I mean, what a come up would that have been? And I didn't know how nostalgic it would be as we got older. No clue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it was one of the greatest experiences. I loved every second of it. So much fun.
Man.
Yes, we got a question here from
Hi,
Katrina.
frickin' crack. That is not
That's not it. Hi, frickin' frack. And hello, Adam. My question is, what is your favorite episode of Gilmore Girls and why?
My favorite episode is definitely the graduation episode where I got to sing Cherish, and that is because I added the bong moment.
Oh,
and,
nice.
I did it in rehearsal. I went, cherish is the word I use to describe bong bong. And they went, well, that's hilarious. And I was like, that's how the song goes. Like, I literally did it in earnestness. And they were like, you're keeping that. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was my favorite episode because it was awesome to be able to have that iconic moment. It was also my last episode, sadly, of the show. But I would say that was my favorite to film for sure, hands down. I also really loved reading the script for when I got back to Into the Woods to see that they had written my life into the show. I thought that was really, really cool.
Wow.
And that made me giggle. But because Amy and I did a pilot together that lasted 4 episodes called Love and Marriage, which was on After Married with Children. Then she asked 5 people to audition for Brad Langford, which was supposed to be 3 lines, 1 scene, 1 episode, done. And then they ended up bringing him back. So you never know what can come from what.
That's awesome.
That's true. That's true, man.
Yeah. So looking back on everything that you've done, right?
Yeah.
Is there Is there something that you wish you could just freeze in time? I mean, one project that you could go back to time and time again.
Picket fences.
Hmm.
And I'm going to tell you why. It really didn't do what it should have, what it needed
Yeah.
to. It was so ahead of its time, so forward thinking, that I'm surprised they haven't rebranded it. But I don't think David E. Kelley wants much to do with it, because I think it was like his tester for what he's doing now. Like if you see, Big Sky and all of these things, like
Oh, yeah.
it's very similar. And I just think that show was so buried. It was on Friday nights at 10 o'clock when you didn't have any way of recording anything. You had to like set your VCR to record on VHS tapes. Nobody did that. Nobody gave a crap. And it was full of these incredible actors. Twice he predicted the future while filming. Gnarly. We would read the script. We were filming the first day, and then it happened in the news the next day. We were like, people are going to think we copied that. We did not. He wrote it first. And it was, I mean, you had Academy Award winning actors in it. You had Emmy Award winning actors in it. You had this show that was so forward and progressive and, I mean, crazy things that subjects nobody would even touch, and really full of just wonderful acting pieces.
Yeah.
And it went, for the most part, critically acclaimed and viewer unappreciated. If you watched it, you loved it.
Yeah.
If you knew what it was. And that, I think, is the biggest issue. If you knew what it was. So many people go, oh, I never heard of that. What was that? And then some people go, I watched it every night with my parents. Oh my God, you were on that show? I loved that show. And it is either you are a fan or you don't understand what the hell that was. That is the one I would go back to. That is the one that I go, man, that right there. That was a show. I
didn't realize how underappreciated it was. I really didn't.
Such low viewership. Horrible in the ratings.
Blows my mind, man.
Yeah.
Looking back on your life, man, we try to ask as many people as we can this question. There's no wrong answer, man. There really isn't.
Of course there is. There's always a wrong way to eat it.
People answer it all the time differently. What advice would you give your younger self if you could go back?
Save your money. Honestly, like I would say, enjoy it. All of these things is everything you do is so fleeting. Enjoy every moment. Why stress? I stressed a lot as I was growing up, and I still do, but like there wasn't any good reasons to really stress myself out, because never was it stress about work. It was always stress about like, how am I going to be a normal kid and how am I going to relate to normal people? And like, just worry less, smile more. I would Hamilton it. Talk less, smile more. Don't let them know what you're against or what you're for. Just enjoy it and ride that frickin' wave. Like, save your money and understand that you're in a business that is so hit and miss. Be smarter about what you do with your fame and how you decide to handle it and how you decide to handle what's coming to you. I wish to God that they would give actors who are growing up in this industry business school and what to do when you receive your checks, because it's so important. That's the one thing I'm going to say. You need financial education, and it's the one thing they don't do. I would say the same thing about like the NBA or anybody. When you turn 18 and you're handed a huge lump sum of money, it is very difficult to be responsible and do the right thing. And you really need those people around you, or those smarts and wherewithal to just understand what you are to do. And so I would just enjoy it even more than I really did. I think that's the only advice I'd have.
That's perfect, man.
I love it.
Perfect.
Because there's no use in, to me, ever worrying about what didn't happen, because 100% of the things that you are meant to do, you did. And I really, truly believe that. And 100% of the things that you are meant to do will come to you. and they are already yours, but you have to understand how to take it.
Yeah. 100%, man.
Adam, what's next for you in life, man? And where can people find you, brother?
Well, you can find me on Instagram and TikTok and Twitch under @ThisIsAdamWylie. I try to keep all my socials as even as possible so that there's no confusion. You can catch me at the Magic Castle performing in the late close-up room next week, Tuesday through Sunday. And then I will be doing a new musical, the world premiere of a musical called Singing Revolution in Hollywood. And that will open January 15th. And you can always see me on episode 1, season 6 of Lucifer out on Netflix right now.
That's awesome.
Sweet, man.
And
Yeah.
you've got an incredible story and an incredible journey to get to where you are, man. This is inspiration, brother. It really is.
I appreciate that. You know, I really do. It's I'm lucky. I'm just a lucky person.
Yes, definitely inspirational episode. Maybe the most inspiring we've had, because there was a lot of things for us to think about too. Now, just from the words and things you said, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, man. Look, it meant a lot for you to be here with us tonight. I think
same. I appreciate it.
We've really waited our entire lives, you know, to speak to individuals like yourself. It seems like to us, you know, and every time we have somebody on or someone says yes, it's just unbelievable to us because, like, you know, we were kids, man, watching you. You know, even though you were a kid as well.
Yeah.
We just
crazy to think, isn't it?
We watched you grow up, you know.
Right. Yeah, I grew up in a very public way for sure.
Oh yeah.
It's different. It's different. That's that I can say.
Thank you for your honesty tonight too, man.
Absolutely.
It's a breath of fresh air, brother.
Yeah, I don't ever believe in not telling it like it is, because there is no point to set you up to then have the rug pulled under you.
Yeah. Yep. So before you leave, we would like to ask you for a favor.
What's the favor?
He's like, ooh. We want to know, would you like to show us some magic?
Oh, really? I'm not prepared. Sure, why not? You know, and this is not planned. We can tell everyone that this is not planned.
Oh yeah,
it's just something that
definitely
I'm
not
going to do on the fly. We're going to do two things. We're going to do one with each of you, and it doesn't matter who goes first to me. Now, I need a card out of the 52 different cards named. Just naming any card you want, and
You
please try not to be stereotypical about it, because there are a lot of people that name a lot of stereotypical cards, and you can be, but if you do, I swear you're going to think it's pre-planned. And that is something I want to avoid.
3 of diamonds.
The 3 of diamonds, the goon card, the card that when I worked at Universal Studios was the one card that everybody loved so much. Why the 3 of diamonds for you?
I like the number 3, and diamonds are girls' best friends. I was raised by women, so.
Yes, it's fantastic, and you're absolutely right. Now, inside my back pocket, what you don't know is I have a wallet. Inside of this wallet, I have a compartment where my driver's license is, only right now I have an upside-down card.
There's not a chance. Not a chance.
Well, I don't believe in luck.
Oh my.
So,
I didn't even see you stand up. I didn't even see you stand up ever.
I didn't have to. I don't have to stand up all again.
It's been in there the whole episode.
I'm gonna rewind this so many times.
All right, now it's Caleb's turn to do this. I need you to name a different card. Something that's not the 3 of diamonds. It doesn't matter what it is. I don't care.
Ace of spades.
The Ace of Spades, the most stereotypical card on the planet, and that is okay. I'm not going to use that, but we will come back to it. Okay. What I will do is I'm going to take out a few cards here, and I'm specifically taking out cards that do not look like the Ace of Spades. And you can see anything that I'm doing. It doesn't really. I don't want that. It doesn't really matter. I don't really care. Oh, my favorite card. I don't really care. But this is something that is That is all right. It's gonna still work out. I'm hoping. But we've got a bunch of cards, and I'm gonna show you them real quick. We've got a lot of different cards, and they are real. You have a 5 of hearts, which is my favorite card. You've got a Queen of clubs, and you have a 7 of clubs. This is very important that I'm doing this because this is to prove that it's not CGI. It's not something that's very, very fake. And I will bring the rest of the deck up to that so that you guys can actually see what's going on. Now, all I'm going to do is flip all of those cards face down. So I'm going to take that 3 of clubs and I'm going to flip it face down so that you see it kind of, I don't know which way is better. And I'm going to do the 7 of hearts, flip that face down. You got the Queen of clubs, we'll flip that face down. You've got that 5 of hearts. Now, since it's my favorite card, I am going to leave that card flipped face up around the other way. Now, this is going to look like CGI. I promise you that I am in the real life, and this is not CGI. But you're going to look at that 5 of hearts. You're just going to stare at it really quick, because if I just shake it, it doesn't look completely different.
No
so do
way.
all of the other cards. They really do look like they might be.
No way.
Aces, which is very, very nice, and you can examine those yourself if you were here. All of those things, they are just normal aces.
That is insane.
Witchcraft. It's a witchcraft, I tell you.
Yeah, I mean, there's something you're not telling us here.
Yes, absolutely. You are right. That is the right answer.
I solved it.
Golly.
Bam, done.
That was incredible.
Jeez.
That was incredible. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, that was the best thing. I've never been to a magic show or anything, but that was very fun. That was very fun. Those 2 minutes was very, very
magic
fun.
Shows are so much fun, and you would get an absolute kick out of seeing somebody live do all of the
oh my goodness,
do all of the I'm sorry. I'm gonna oh wow.
I don't understand.
But yeah, they are very fun. They're very, very fun.
Well, we'll definitely have to come to your show, man. Very, very soon.
Anytime you're out here, and let's play some video games. I know we've been talking about it, but
yes.
I'm on every night. I'll be on here. So, and I got other friends in Louisiana. I got my buddy Scott, who makes Miss Marita's hard candy slides in Louisiana, and he's he's awesome.
Whoa, that sounds amazing.
Dude, they're so good. Please try them. They're amazing.
I will just for you. I'll make sure to get them ordered.
Good.
I feel bad for our audio listeners that didn't get that treat. I'm telling you, none of this was planned. I had no idea that we were even going to do it not a clue. And he pulled it out of his wallet. So there's that.
Yeah.
And his mouth.
I don't even know
and
how
his
that
mouth.
happened.
And his mouth.
That is bizarre, man. I can't wait to see what else you do at shows,
awesome.
but that was pretty mind blowing.
I appreciate that.
Do you ever pull a rabbit out of a hat?
Cliche.
No, I don't. When I played Hockey Fantasy, my name was a rabbit out of the hat trick. Because
nice.
I thought that was hilarious.
Yeah.
And I have a friend who pulls a hat out of a rabbit. I have another friend who pulls a rabbit out of his hair. But for the most part, I do close-up magic. So cards, coins, rubber bands, and mentalism is what I am usually doing. So I don't work with the big props. And usually when you do the rabbit stuff, it's more of a bigger prop. Some would disagree, but for the most part.
Cards are sweet.
Yes.
I love them.
Stick with that.
Find them anywhere.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah, that's the greatest thing about it. That's why I actually started with cards, is because, you could go to 7-Eleven or to Rite Aid, wherever you have, and you can just go grab a deck of cards and learn some cool stuff.
And a slushy.
And a slushy. And that's it. That's the greatest.
Nice, man.
Adam, brother, we love you to death, man. Anytime you want to come on and chat, dude, well, I'm all about it. I look forward to watching you two compete on some MLB The Show. I got it in my daughter's room right now.
Let's do it. Let's go. I'm gonna lose. It's gonna be so much fun.
I look forward to it.
Yeah, man.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Definitely. I'm so crazy about this magic, though. you inspired me to go look up things, but I don't want to look up things. Like I said, the mystery is the best part about it.
I mean, and you also know me, you know, I'm happy to teach you some fun things to, you know, help your journey.
Do it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'd embarrass myself.
A whole new element to the freaking Frack Show.
No,
A whole new element.
I have a bunch of cards here. They're business
can you
cards.
shuffle those? Oh, never mind. I was gonna do a magic trick if those were actual cards with you.
Sorry to disappoint you, but
yeah,
I can shuffle.
All good. Yeah, it won't matter. It will not matter. Oh, you know what I could do? Do you have a bunch there? Do you have a bunch of them there?
Yeah, I have 120.
Do you have a pen?
No. No, I do not actually. Not in this room.
This would have worked. This would have worked if you just had a pen. Oh
well. We'll do something together very soon then.
Okay.
We'll do a little collab. Yeah, man.
Part 2.
Yeah, because
part 2, you're gonna need a deck of cards, and I'm gonna do a magic trick to you with you sitting in the comfort of your own home. And in fact, the listeners could actually follow along to AT, and whatever happens to you will happen to them.
Dude,
that's not comforting, but that's cool.
Love it. Looking forward to it. I love it.
Yeah, man. Look, thank you so much for being here, man. We'll definitely get together real soon. And Vicky and I are planning a trip to Los Angeles, hopefully soon. So,
dude, let me know. Let's go to the Magic Castle. Let's have some fun.
Yeah. So wait, okay. Last question. What is the Magic Castle?
Yeah.
Is that Disney?
So that's the Magic Kingdom. The Magic Castle is the most exclusive club for magicians in the world. Look it up. It is amazing. It's behind Hollywood and Highland. It is 5 floors. It was created by Milt and Bill Larson in 1963. Anyone has been a member. You have to be invited by a member or have to be a member in order to gain access. It is all cocktail attire and is where the best magicians from around the world come to perform.
Wow. Okay, so I didn't know any of that.
We're going.
I mean, we always hear in movies about the like, what is it, Arrested Development, Magicians of Alliance or whatever.
Which 2 of my friends are in that picture?
Oh.
One I do a show with, and the other one is in Lucifer with me. And if you watch that episode of Lucifer I'm in, you'll learn all about the Magic Castle because that's where we filmed. And it happened to be only one of 2 times in my life that I played a magician.
Great.
That's incredible, man. And yes, we're actually going to be starting Lucifer soon because I've never seen it.
It's so good.
I'm so behind on CW though. I am so behind on CW shows. I gave it up.
I get it.
After season 4 of Arrow, I gave it up.
I get it.
Whoa. You got to finish Arrow. That's my baby. I love Stephen Amell.
And you got crossovers, man. You got crossover episodes.
I know.
You like created a whole world.
I like when I saw the crossover with Tom Welling
Supergirl? And the Superman one.
And he was like, you're not Lex. I like that part because he was not who was it? John from 2.5 Men, right? He was
John
Lex.
Cryer?
John Cryer. Yeah, and I mean but that was the only thing I've seen since Arrow season 4. That was the only thing. And also Kevin Conroy's episode. That That was interesting. That was neat.
I mean, that's Batman, man. You can't good Lord, that's Batman.
He really is. And Matt, he's like Kevin Conroy is the guy who did the animated stuff since we were kids. Yeah, he's Batman and
that
everything.
Nostalgic Batman.
Yeah,
and you're like, whoa. It's so good. He's so good.
Are we still recording?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Let's go.
We are on. We are on.
A 3-hour frickin' Frack show.
No, this is probably the longest, I think.
No, it's second to the 2.5 hour one that we didn't know we were still recording on.
Oh yeah,
that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was an interesting one, That's
great. That was great. Adam, you're the best, dude. This is awesome. I honestly, this is the meat and potatoes right here, man. From start to finish, this has been great, man. I've loved it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
People will definitely enjoy this episode, especially tomorrow. On the way to work, we'll start getting messages saying like, "This episode's great. We love it," and everything.
Oh, that's so fun! How cool!
And then we're gonna be like, "Haha, you should have been there because you didn't see the magic trick." Yeah. They're gonna be like, "Wait." They're gonna be like, "What's he got?"
Magic.
He's awesome.
You guys were in on it. There's no way you were in on
Not
it.
a chance. I promise to everybody that's listening, from Jakarta to New York City to Nebraska, I did not know anything about the Three of Diamonds. So
I didn't know he was going to eat the cards and throw them up. I don't know how he did all that, but I mean, if I did that right now, I'd probably die. I mean, truthfully, this is a big stack of cards. Okay.
Yeah. Don't do it.
Oh,
it's bad.
Man.
They taste gross.
I bet you these do too, because they're like thick. So yeah, they don't melt in your mouth, you know.
Not in your hand. Yeah.
All right, brother. We love you to death, man. Go check him out on episode 1 of season 6 of Lucifer coming out. Go see him at his magic shows. Look him up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. He's our guy. Go
and
back
the TikTok.
and watch
TikTok's been very good for me.
TikTok with Mama. Go back and watch Picket Fences. Learn yourself something. Learn yourself something about good television.
Yeah, right? Serious.
Adam, if you ever need anything, man, reach out. We're always down to promote. We're always down to just help each other. We're not really. We're very as you can tell, we love to conversate, you know, on Instagram and everything with people, and we're just kind of learn to just be open with everybody and kind of, you know, be an equal to everyone.
Well,
I guess you can
let's play some video games. I'm down.
Yeah. I'm going to pick up somebody from work, but after I'll be home. So
great. And then I will probably be on in a few hours. So there you go.
Hey, we're gonna hit you up for part 2, bro. You're not getting out of it. We're doing it.
Nah, let's do it. I'm in. Let's go.
We're gonna go ahead and watch Under Wraps 2021. See what I did there?
Maybe we should do that live.
Yeah, watch party.
Yeah, Disney might not, you know, like that. Why are y'all watching our stuff, man? I'll contact them and ask them.
Perfect. Yeah, they won't listen to me.
We'll just watch it until we get kicked off.
Yeah,
that'll work.
Yeah, let's do that. About 7 minutes into it, perfectly okay to cut off.
Yeah,
exactly.
Everybody, this is episode 64 with our guy Adam. This is a podcast for the fans, by the fans. Peace.
Yo, it's the freaking Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by the fans.
This is the freaking Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by the fans.
Freaking Frack Show, a podcast for the fans, by the fans.
All right, guys.